live. We are live. We are live. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's the top of the hour. It is 3 p.m. and I'm so happy to be here with you today on this 12th day of January. And I have my guest, and you can see her there on the screen. Hi, Jane. Please say hello to us.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, it is good to see you here, Jane. And thank you so much for joining us. It is the second session of the month. January is a month of new beginnings and transitions. And we are looking forward to this year with all the learnings that we had in 2020. We give thanks to God that He has brought us to this point. And now we are trusting in Him to take us even further into the year. And we are here to talk about the things that we love. You know, the things that we love are gifts from God. These are things that we love. However, in your case, Jane, it is something that you came to learn, and we would love to hear much more about it as we go on. So, welcome to Tuesday Talks at 3, a platform where women help one another in our daily journey as we go through the sphere of life. My name is Lucy Makridis, and I'm the founder of LMC Consultancy. And I'm an expert in helping women get unstuck and onto their full potential through unlocking their limiting beliefs. I am a certified life coach. I am a mentor and an online facilitator. And I want to thank you all for coming onto this broadcast. Well, LMC Consultancy is all about life coaching and training. And we have quite a few services. And I'd like to share some of the services with you today. One of them is group life coaching, and we're actually running that this month. So if you've got friends, you've got relatives, you've got people who belong to a group that you are in, you share the same interests, this is the place to be. It's all about clarity. It's all about clarity this January and all those New Year's resolutions. So as a gathering, you can come through. It's a maximum of 5 so that we can optimize the time with you. And it's great. It's 6 sessions, and we would love to have you direct message me, and I can come back to you with details. We then have one-on-one coaching, and this is ongoing. One-on-one coaching, it helps you to get unstuck and onto where you want to be. You know, you've got this thing you've been wanting to do for a while, and maybe you're just not feeling the vibe, you're not feeling the push. And there could be just something small that's stopping you. Have a conversation with me, and we can help you to get unstuck. Or maybe it's new beginnings, like we say in January. And this is what you want to do. You want to transcend to the next level. Join me, DM me, and I'll be able to give you more information. Then we have the online facilitation. That's about training. And we've hit the ground running this January. And if you've missed it, or if you've missed it, then you were snoozing. We carried out the Awakening Self program. It was a 5-part series, and we had exciting times on there. We exchanged tools, and we helped you how to move from point A to B. A lot of excitement. We had online activities. It was great fun. Well, if you have missed it, of course you missed it. If you missed it, of course you missed it. I'm saying it the third time. If you missed it, of course you missed it. You need to be present to self. Anyway, we have an opportunity in February. We will be running this particular Awakening Self program in this first 3 months. So February and March, we'll be running it. The dates for February are 8th, that week of the 8th, so Monday through to Friday. And just watch out for the messages on this wall of my Facebook. And we'll be able to give you the details, the costs, and how to log in. So that is our online facilitation, and hot off the press is the Awakening Self program. The other program that is going on right now is Goal Setting and Clarity of 2021. And you can hop on to my IG and see the things that I have been posting since yesterday. Tomorrow we post the last one because it is a 3-part series. If you are interested in taking this to the next level and you want to have a one-on-one with me or a group coaching with me on clarity of goal setting for 2021, just direct message me. Yeah? Then we have Lady in Waiting, which is on pause right now because girls are back in school. Lady in Waiting is all about social etiquette. It is for young girls, preteen, 12 years of age, up to 18 years of age. And it is a session where we help them to gracefully transition into society. social etiquette, social media etiquette, dining etiquette, business etiquette, personal grooming and deportment. This is what we take the girls through. So the next session is going to be happening during the school holidays. And just make sure that you are part of it. Now, what makes me an expert, you may ask? Why would I come out on this Tuesday Talks at 3 and say that I am an expert in helping women get unstuck? Well, I'm a woman and I got stuck not once, not twice, but quite a few times. I have had my deals in life where I was dealt hard ones and I hit the floor, but I picked myself up. If I fell down once, I picked myself up twice. If I fell down 10 times, I picked myself up the 11th time. And that makes me an expert. My career is hospitality. It runs in my veins, but we all know that COVID came and happened to us, continues to happen to us, and hospitality was the hardest hit, at least in my opinion. However, being the hardest hit just meant that now I was out of a job, I was out of any contracts, and I was down on my knees, ladies. I was down on my knees. It wasn't the easiest experience for me. But then during this time, I realized that I had to pick myself up and do something. I found that it had disrupted my journey because I was out of the gates and I was going for it. However, I found that my purpose had remained intact to help build one another. It had remained intact. So I had to rethink my journey, repurpose my journey. I had to go back to the drawing board. And then when I realized that my why, my purpose was still true, it gave me that confidence. It was something that I know how to do. I just had to figure out a different way to do it because now I was not doing it in hospitality. And voila, that is why I'm here before you on this screen with my guest here, Jane, today. And I'm bringing you more and more women, women like Jane, who have a story to tell. And you're out there and you have a story to tell. Don't keep it to yourself. I know that you are benefiting from all these stories that you're hearing. Come and share your story. Come and share your story. It's very liberating when you talk about your story. You hear yourself saying it, and there's a lot of growth within you when you hear yourself saying it to yourself. Anyway, so my true potential was out there. Remember, I had to repurpose my journey, but my why, my purpose was still the same. But my potential now was out. I had to find my potential in this new area because it was no longer hospitality. I had to learn a new trade. And that is why today I'm telling you that I am certified in certain areas because I learned this trade. And I learned that I already had it in me. I was doing it. I just didn't know it had a name. So this is what I'm doing now. And this true potential of mine gave birth to Awakening Self. And that's the program that debuted last week. And I am so proud that I have achieved another milestone in my new normal. I have actually put Awakening Self out there in the market. I will be running the Awakening Self programs, like I said, in February and in March. And I welcome you to join us. Let's exchange stories and let's share ideas. So I found my voice. I am owning my voice and I'm on the journey of embracing my voice, making it my lifestyle. And this is what I encourage all of you to do. Find your voice, make it your lifestyle. Let us all know you, that you are the person who does this kind of thing, that kind of thing. You are the thought leader on this. And I pray this upon you. Yeah. So I invite you to be part of this. Please like our Facebook page for the opportunity to be invited to our We Are Connected community and share your story with us. Yeah. So before we get there, and before we introduce Jane officially, I'm just Facebook because we're supposed to be live and we just want to make sure. And yes, we are live and I see us. Amazing. Okay. So please feel free to comment, to contribute, to share your story. Jane and I are waiting to hear from you. We are waiting to hear from you. It's already 10 past the hour, and our introduction comes from the fact that 2020 opened up my eyes, and I realized that these side hustles that they need to be taken seriously. These side hustles are the ones that kept roofs over families' heads, that kept food on the table, that gave people a reason to wake up. Remember Ikigai, what we talked about last week, That's our Japanese tool, ikigai. And it's the reason for being, the reason you wake up in the morning. So Jane is going to tell us her reason why she wakes up in the morning. And one of the ikigai quadrants is about doing what you love and also what you're good at and also what the world needs. And you know what? The best part? Doing it and getting paid for it. So, here to share her story with me today is Jane Cavuna of Amazing Jane Virtual Assistant Services. She specializes in Pinterest management. Jane, karibu sana.
Asante. Hello,
So, we
hello, everyone.
Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, so we would love to hear a few things from you, Jane. And I'm just encouraging those who are signing in to share their stories with us. And I am just pulling this up. Okay, yes, kindly share your stories with us. Come on then, comment about something that you learned during 2020 or something you have chosen to learn. Or what was your New Year's resolution? Talk to us, send us a message, send us some love hearts and thumbs up as Jane and I go through this session. So, Jane, tell us your choice of work. What is
Mhm.
it? Tell us about it and how did you arrive at it?
Um, Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Lucy for inviting me to this Tuesday talk show. And it's a great milestone for me to begin the year with such a live. Um, I am Jane Cavuna of Amazing Jane Virtual Assistant Services. I do Pinterest management. I assist business coaches, online businesses, and bloggers to get paying clients through Pinterest.
Wow.
Uh, this is by linking their products and services onto pins so that they can be seen and people go back to their websites or to go and buy the services or the products that they've seen through the Pinterest links. Yeah, so how I came into Pinterest.
Yes.
Um, it was first introduced at our place of work by a person, or rather a coach, who just came and talked to us about the social media platforms that our company could go into. So we were told that there is a platform like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and the coach just talked about generally that those are the platforms to go into. So after the meeting, we were told that, okay, I was given the assignment to build the Pinterest account for the company and the Instagram account. So I had no idea of what Pinterest was all about. I had to do lots of researches, lots of video watching through the YouTube, lots of blog reading and all that, so that I could come up with a Pinterest account for the company. So through this, that is how I came to know about Pinterest and how a business really needs Pinterest so that they can get their products and services out there through Pinterest. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so you arrived at it literally by accident, or do you think it was divine intervention because you knew nothing about Pinterest? You went into a meeting and when you're coming out, suddenly you are the one who was in charge of doing this for your company.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was.
Hello. Sorry, I didn't get you. I think you were a bit off.
Yeah, I'm asking, what do you think it was? Divine intervention?
I would
Or
think
are
it
you saying
was,
that it was by accident that you got into it?
at that time, I was thinking like, why am I given all this kind of work? You know, something you don't know. But coming to think of it later on, I'm saying it was actually God sent, because I came to love it, to learn more about it, and I could see that I could give it out as something that I could do as a virtual assistant to
Mm-hmm.
people,
Mm-hmm.
and I could get some payment through it. So I would say it was God sent for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we we make plans. It is said that when we make plans, God is laughing because he can just see us trying to work within our own strengths. It was interesting that you walked into a meeting and you walked out with something new, and little did you know that your life was going to take a totally different turn. So you arrive at this, we wouldn't call it a dream, but we arrive at this place where now a talent that you have and you're not even aware of it, and maybe it's a management talent, was now being assisted by a situation in the office. A coach walks in and gives his or her take on how to improve the services. And then what happens? You're the one who gets chosen to do this. I mean, this happens a lot to us, Jane. It happens to us a lot. And I just want to ask the ladies who are watching, send us a message and tell us, when did it happen to you that you walked into somewhere as a spectator, as a witness? You're just walking in to do your own things, minding your own business. But when you walk out of that door, you are blessed. You've got no idea at that time that you are blessed. But when you walk out of that door, you're thinking, okay, what just happened to me? I wasn't expecting that. What is this? What is this? And this happens to us. So please share. Agnes Mohia, great to see you here. Share with us, ladies. Share with us this experience that you had. You were not expecting something to happen, but it suddenly happened. Our prayers get answered in different ways, not necessarily in the way that we had set it out to be. So Jane, I want to believe that you were reaching out in your prayers to improve yourself, to give you opportunities. And this was an answered prayer. What would you say about that?
Well, it was an answered prayer in terms of that. After learning it, I could see that there was really an interest for businesses. Yes. People really need to be having the interest in their business because it brings back to them the more traffic to their websites, and also their brands get to be seen. Also, their products can be seen and be bought, so there is profit to their company. Yes. So in Africa, or rather in Kenya, Pinterest is not yet so much taken into. People also go to Pinterest to look for ideas, just for ideas, personally, maybe for home decor and maybe garden ideas, but it is actually being used for businesses, and people need to go into Pinterest for businesses. So there's a really opportunity in going into Pinterest as a business.
Wow, well, it's interesting that you say that, because if then you've walked out of that business, or that office or that meeting, and now you're the one who is in charge, when you walked into that meeting, Jane, you had no idea.
No.
And now you're walking out, you have been told this is what you're doing. Yeah. So I am more interested at this point to know what kind of resources did you have, because you're sitting with us now here on this session, telling us about Pinterest. And if it's Pinterest that you're talking about, how come now you're an expert? How come now you're a virtual assistant? So if you could answer that one question for us, what kind of resources did you have to get yourself through this?
Okay, the kind of resources that I had was that I had to have internet and a computer. And also I had to do lots of online researches. I personally love to do online research. So it wasn't so much of a challenge for me. And I like learning. So I really love that I had an opportunity to learn what I didn't know about, and to know that this is something that is helpful for a business or can be helpful to somebody else's business. So you need to have a internet, you need to have a computer. There are also tools that you need to have. At first, it was challenging because I didn't know how to use some tools like Canva, which is a program for making posts or pins. In fact, I remember at a point, I was looking for a virtual assistant job, and the thing that made me not to get the job was because I didn't know how to use Canva. So from that point on, I said, hey, I have to learn how to use Canva. If this is the thing that is making me not to get that job, let me use Canva. So Canva has helped me with Pinterest because it also makes Pinterest pins and also other social media
So
images
what
and
you're
all that.
telling us then is that you had minimal resources at your disposal. And I mean, it was internet, it was a computer. You didn't have the knowledge. Neither was there a template that you were given or a whole
No.
manual with enough pages that you were told, go through this, learn this, come back next week. And, this is how we do it in our company, which would then be standards of procedure. Because in whatever place you work in, you want to believe that already there are standards of procedure, or there are standard policies that people use, or there's a template. Because if you were to come to my business, there are certain ways that I do my things. And if I was to hire anybody, I would say, this is how we do it. You were in a situation where you did not have any resources handed over to you. You had to
Yeah.
go and learn. Isn't that just amazing? That you took the personal initiative to learn, and what a blessing that you love to learn. You just love to learn. How long ago was this, Jane, out of interest?
This was, say, in 20, that's like 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Six
Six
years
years
ago, yeah.
ago, when the digital space and social media was something that big companies did, So if it was
Yeah.
big companies that did, they usually came up with procedures of how to run it. Wow, wow. So you had your work cut out for you. You went ahead and you learned online. You went ahead and you started applying. So what were the risks? What risks did you encounter, Jane?
Wow. I had to find out what really works with Pinterest.
Yes.
So I had to try this and that and see what works with Pinterest. So as of now, I have really vast knowledge of Pinterest, because you can imagine going into something that you know nothing about and having to learn through the internet of how to go bit by bit about it. So I really had to do this thing. If it's not working, I go it the other way and all that.
So it was a lot of trial and error, just trial and error on your part. Would you agree with me?
Yes, it was.
It was trial and error. But then again, isn't that the lesson of life?
Yeah.
I like to teach people the word snowballing. Now, snowballing is pulled from the first world, where you start off with something small, and as it begins to roll, it becomes bigger and bigger from the snowballs of what children played with. So it is the way it picks up its momentum. It becomes bigger because of its importance or its size or its idea. It just catches on. So when you start something, and that's what's important, you have to start. And Jane, that's what you did. You walked out of that room and you started. You didn't have resources apart from a computer and the internet. That's what you had. So you didn't sit back
Yeah.
and make excuses. You didn't make
No.
excuses at all. You went ahead and you started. And when you started on something you don't know about, there was trial and error. There are moments when you failed, there are moments when you succeeded. Amazing. So I'm just going to sample a few of what the ladies are saying here. We've got Irene. Hi, Irene. It's been a while. Nice to see you, Irene. Irene says a wonderful topic and discussion. Oh, Sunita, good to see you again. Happy New Year, guys. It's good to see you all back. Irene says, Jane, who are your clients, and how can an online facilitator leverage on Pinterest? Wow. So Jane is asked, you're being asked, Jane, how can an online facilitator leverage on Pinterest?
Okay, my clients are business coaches,
Uh-huh.
online businesses, and bloggers.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Interest, what we do is that we link the products or the services. If you have an online business, you can link your products or your services onto pins. So when pins are visual images with links to either your website, or that will bring back the people or customers to the links of your products or services. So if you're a business coach, we normally link your website to the images of the pins, and they get, when somebody clicks on the pins, they'll be brought back to your website or to your Facebook or to your Instagram through the links that we put onto the pins in Pinterest. So whoever is interested in your type of business or in your type of products, they'll get back to you according to what you have to give them.
Wow.
Even you can also be getting email lists to grow, because you can be linking the email list page onto the pins. So people will be linking and going back to your website. And if you have an email list, you'll be getting more people into your email list. It will grow. Your brand will also get to be seen. Traffic to your website will be growing. Your products and services will be bought. Actually, Pinterest is for any kind of business. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. I hope, Irene, you've been answered. And if you've got any other clarifications, please just drop them here. Jane is with us until the top of the hour, and she'll be very happy to answer. I'm just picking up a few things here, which has actually taken us forward to the tools and whether we can use them. But I'd like first, before we jump forward, to handle something that you said, Jane, about rejection. And you talked about, when you were talking about Canva, that you missed a job opportunity because you did not know what Canva was, or you didn't know how to work with Canva, and therefore you faced rejection. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes, you did.
Well, rejection is something that happens to everybody, but it's what you do with the rejection that matters. And I want to really commend you, Jane, because rejection could have meant that you say, oh, that's not for me. I don't know it. I did not go to any formal education to learn about digital marketing. I really want to commend you because you were able to pick it up. And today you are on this session telling us that you're getting paid for this, something that you learned along the way without going to formal education. That is so commendable. So ladies, how many of you have faced rejection out there? What kind of rejection are you facing right now? If I could share my personal story, the first time that I was told in my place of work that it wasn't working, I took that rejection very badly. Very, very badly. In fact, I went into what I think now must have been depression, because then I took it as something personal. It was something about me, that I was not good enough. And because I carried it through, and I carried it through my life for a section there, and I did not do something about it. Anytime that I did something, whether it was at home, whether it was with friends, whether it was just in public, and somebody looked at me in a funny way, I already interpreted that way that I didn't do it right, that I was not good enough, that I shouldn't be doing this. I have no business in this particular arena. My child would fall ill, and already I was feeling that I was not a good mother, all because of what happened to me the first time in my place of work when I was rejected and I was told it wasn't working. And I did not stand up and say, which is what I wish I knew then, but I guess we have to learn in life. The one way to deal with rejection is to ask for feedback. What is it that you would like me to do to be able to meet your expectations so that you can understand what it is you're being rejected for? I mean, Jane, yours was so specific. You knew it was about Canva, and therefore you stood up and went and did something about it. And I cannot say it enough. I commend you for this, because I do my life coaching, and we have individuals dealing with rejection and they don't know how to come back from it. And because of this rejection, we get a lot of limiting beliefs along the way, which come then and block us from reaching our goals. So you went ahead and you learned something new. So ladies out there and the audience that is listening to our session today, when you are met with rejection, use it as a platform to catapult yourself forward. To catapult yourself forward. In this case, Jane, learned something new, and she figured it out on the way. She snowballed into something great, not something that was horrible. Well done, Jane, and thank you. I just wanted us to come back to there and just deal with that rejection. Is there anything you'd like to share with us on this point of rejection?
On the point of rejection is that, as Lucy, you were saying, is we should learn that why am I being rejected? First of all, look at why are you being rejected, or what is the thing that is making you to be rejected. So if you're being rejected because of not knowing how to do something, go learn it. If you are rejected because of not having the knowledge, search for that knowledge so that you can be able to, to be able to work for what you are looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because nothing comes easy, my dear. Nothing comes easy. It has been served to you, but doesn't mean that because it has been served to you, you have the whole template, like what happened in your case. You have to work for it. You have to arrive at it. And I think the success and the fulfillment is much sweeter when you work for it. So I'm just loving that. I'm loving the fact that you chose this rejection in a positive way and you made it work for you. We've just been joined by Seraphine. Great to see you here. Today, we are having people who've been away for a while. So I guess it's the new year and slowly we are coming into it. So it's nice to see familiar faces coming back. Today, we are talking with Jane Cavuna, and she is a Pinterest manager with Amazing Jane Virtual Assistant Services. And she's just telling us what it is that she does, how she came to do it. And we've just given Irene a response because she asked a very, very good question, because it's all about business. Now, if you remember what we talked about last week, which is Ikigai, and Ikigai is a Japanese tool, that helps us get on with life. You know, if we're able to get the balance in life, it is that purpose that makes us wake up in the morning. Just wake up in the morning and stretch and feel blessed and fulfilled already. Yeah. So Ikigai has got 4 quadrants, which is what you love doing, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you get paid for. So for Jane today, it was not something that she loved doing because she didn't know it existed. And now she became good at it. And now she loves it. And guess what? She's here to share her story. So, what is your story? What story is it that you want to share with us? Why are you keeping it to yourself? Talk to us. You know, just share with us here on the chat. Oh, Irene has commented. Let's just sample Irene's comment here. Rejection can be God's way of opening better doors. Oh, amen to that, Irene. Did you hear that, Jane?
Hello?
Jane, did you hear that, Jane?
Sorry, I had not heard you.
Irene says rejection can be God's way of opening better doors and greater opportunities. Don't you agree with that?
I do. Absolutely.
Isn't that amazing? She goes on to say, I know I have been rejected or felt rejected. Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. I took the opportunity to learn and become a better me. I also learned how to take rejection and turn it into an opportunity. Yes. That's what we're talking about. Taking rejection and turning it into an opportunity is what we want you guys to hear about. And Jane is here. Jane is here and she's done that. She turned her rejection and she made it into an opportunity. And Irene has shared with us. Thank you so much, Irene. Thank you for sharing that with us. So, Jane, let's just jump right back into it. And I said we were going to get into this. So these are the tools that we can use. But before we get there, tell me, how can this Pinterest make our lives easier? And I know you explained what pins are, but kindly oblige me again. You know, this is social media. Every day there's these things we need to be talking about. So tell me how this makes our lives easier. Let our audience, those who don't know about it, learn about this this Pinterest.
Okay, Pinterest isn't actually a social media platform as such, even though it allows you to share pins and message other users. It's a powerful visual search engine. It's a search engine like Google. That businesses and brands can use to market their products or services while establishing their brands or blog authority. So that is what be interesting.
So if I was to say, if I was to cluster them together, I would say my social medias are things like WhatsApp, things like Facebook, things like IG, those I would put together. If I come and I say my search engines, then I would look at Google and I would look at Pinterest.
Be interesting. Yeah, sure.
Okay, well,
Because
there I have learned something new today.
Because it'd be interesting to use keywords to search for something. If you learn about maybe coaching, that's a keyword that you search for. So it's more of a search engine than a social media platform.
Oh, so
Although
like
there's
now in the case of Irene now, because Irene said that she is an online facilitator, and how can she leverage on Pinterest? So apart from her getting a manager like you, she needs to come up with her keywords. She needs to come up with words that are relevant to her industry, which then you will take and you will embed in these pins, and then this traffic will be directed to her website.
Yeah, what I actually do is there's a questionnaire that I'll give my client to fill in so that I can know more of who her clients are. And from that, I will look for keywords or I create boards that relate to her type of business or her type of services or products.
Okay.
I'm the one who will do the keyword research after knowing what your business is all about. That is how I come in now as the expert in that. Yeah.
Yeah, because the keyword research is very taxing and it's not something that happens overnight. Keyword research is doing a lot of background checking and it needs to always be renewed, refreshed. In fact, I like to do my refreshing of keywords every quarter because this is so important so that we can stay relevant and we can stay in the trend, which is so important. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, Irene, I hope you're learning as much as I'm learning. Today I did not know that this was a search engine, but now as she's dropping all those nuggets, it's all making sense. So Jane, you say that you help business coaches, bloggers, and online businesses to get paying clients. We have a lot of all sorts of entrepreneurs here. We even have not only entrepreneurs that have businesses running, but we've got these entrepreneurs who we are calling now the ones that we talked about in the beginning, the hustlers. COVID showed us that these hustlers are making doing good business. They are putting these roofs over their heads and food on the table. So you've got hustlers here, you've got entrepreneurs here, you've got business people here, and you've got the other new one that I learned I have to show off, infopreneurs. People, I'm sure that is people like Irene, where you are taking in the information that you have and you're teaching people by using that information, and they then in turn can make money, maybe come back to you and you get a part of it. But that's interesting. So you help people, businesses, to get paying clients. I need to see that connectivity. How do you see us getting paying clients through this platform?
You get paying clients because when a person clicks on the pin that I would have created would have links to your products or services. So if that person clicks on your pin and has an interest in your product or your service, then that person will be your client or your customer because he or she will buy what you're selling to them. So that's how you get paying clients now.
Okay, breakthrough for me. Aha moment right there. There's something you said.
Like for example, in your case, you have the coaching sessions that you do and all that. Yes. When you put links to your website or to your products in Pinterest, people will get to see them. And if they have an interest, they'll get to you and ask more about it. And eventually you'll have a customer.
Jane, like I'm saying, that's a breakthrough for me. It's an aha moment. Because for me, when we're talking about Pinterest, it's just about looking for information, like what you said, that in Kenya, it's most, in Africa, it's about ideas. So I love to cook. I love to cook, and I always would look at Pinterest for recipes, but
Yeah.
never have I gone beyond that recipe. I have just looked, maybe reminded myself how to cook something, because COVID now kept us in our homes, and
Yeah.
that means I returned to the cooking. I would cook over the weekend, but there was not that much, that heavy activity of cooking. That's what I wanted to say. But now that COVID had me at home, and I did not have any house help, there was no money for house help. So I had to think about my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, my tea time. I had to get creative. And then I had to remind myself of certain recipes, what is the portioning that should go in when we are mixing something. And I discovered Pinterest. That's when I discovered Pinterest, and that's what I used it for. Today, the breakthrough is coming, and you are saying that this is for businesses and that I can get clients through this platform. Ladies, I hope you're getting this breakthrough the way I am. Thank you so much for joining us, Sheila. Sheila says, a very enlightening session. Thank you so much, Sheila. Joan, oh, Joan, it's good to see you here. Joan says, hi, ladies. Great discussion there. I'm a technology expert for business. Passionate about artificial intelligence and ML, and I use the platform to empower anyone who needs to know about AI, artificial intelligence, and how they can use it to optimize their day-to-day lives. So she's already using this platform. Amazing, Joan. And I do this through online cohorts and online courses. So to grow and expound such a brand, yeah, how do I leverage? Oh, I beg your pardon. I misunderstood you. Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm reading it again. I read my own things. I was too excited. So, Joan says that she is a technology expert for business. She's passionate about AI and ML. She uses these platforms to empower anyone who needs to know about AI and how they can use it to optimize their day-to-day lives. And I do this through online cohorts and online courses. So she's teaching people, yeah? So to grow and expound such a brand, how do I leverage on Pinterest for my business and get paying clients? Exactly the question I was asking you. So before you answer that, we've got Charity. Oh, welcome, Charity. That's up first. Good to see you here. She says, this is interesting. Never thought of Pinterest in terms of business. I looked at it from the angle of fashion and lifestyle, exactly like me. I looked at it from the angle of recipes. We are learning here, Charity. Thank you for joining us. Irene says, hi, Serafina and Gia. Hi, Nduku. Hi, Joan. How are you doing today? Oh, great. Thank you so much, Irene, for saying hi to everybody. So we are back to the question. Jane. Yeah, it's about leveraging it for our businesses to get paying clients. Could you repeat that? Please repeat that, because people are getting aha moments. I'm sure all the time you were speaking, everybody was just thinking about ideas, cooking, fashion, gardening. And now you've given us something else. So go ahead, Irene. Tell us about business and paying clients.
Okay, when you go to Pinterest and you are looking for a recipe, when you click on the pin, it sends you to a person's website where they have the recipe written.
Yes.
So when you go to their website, maybe a pop-up will come for you to join their mailing list.
Yes.
Or you go to their website and look at their shop. So with Pinterest, if you are a business, I'll put links of all your services, your website onto the pins. And if there's a client or a person interested in something that you're offering, it will bring them back to what you have to offer. If it's a website, if it's a blog, and from there on, you never know, they'll come to you for your service or for your product. So that's why it's important for a business to be on Pinterest. Just the way you are going to look for a fashion, that's the way somebody will go in Pinterest to search for a blog, for a coaching course, or something to do with family or anything. So Pinterest is for any type of business to be in, as long as you have a website or you have a product to sell. or a service, if you're an online coach, or like the IT, the AI, was it? I don't know, I can't remember the name who was asking about
Artificial
it.
intelligence. That was from Joan Bessia.
So even John can be on it. Anybody can be on it as long as you have a website, or even if you don't have a website, but you have a social media platform, we can link back to your Instagram, we can link back to your Facebook page and all that.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you so much. You have really given us something new here to think about. We've got Rose and Jerry. Thank you for joining us. And Rose, you say, I never thought I could use Pinterest for business. Now you know, and now you know. So great. These are new things we are hearing. This is the new year. We can leverage in whatever business we have. And I know that you mentioned also when you were sharing information with me that apart from doing the Pinterest setup, you can do audits, you can clean up, you do management cleanup, you can do the designs. Look at that, pin designs. You went ahead and learned about Canva. And now you're applying Canva. You and I need to side chat and talk about Canva because I really want Canva to do more for me. And so we will have a chat about that. But I like the fact, I think my takeaway is that anything is possible. Anything is possible. We just need to put ourselves out there and we are able to see what is available. And what comes back on Ikigai, as I said, there were 4 quadrants of Ikigai: doing what you love, being good at what you're doing, getting paid for it. This one is about the world needs it. And it's just, there's a gap here, Jane. How are we in Kenya and Africa still thinking of it as a place for fashion and food and gardening and not for business? So there's a gap there. Jane, will you be sharing your contacts with us? Because we need to know your costs. We need to know where to find you. Will you be sharing your contacts with us and we can put it onto the Facebook Live?
Yeah, I will share my Amazing Jane virtual assistant page, as
Yes.
well as if you follow me, you can direct message me, and
Yes.
also my email address
Yes.
and my consultation call. You can book a consultation call that will actually link onto the comments here.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Thank you so much. Now, that was so exciting. Ladies, we're waiting to hear your stories. What are your stories about your businesses and what you have done beginning of this year? Your New Year's resolutions. We talked about rejection, getting up and moving on. We talked about learning something new. So what is it that you'd like to share with us? Let's keep the conversation going. Jane, as we hop back on, we have to measure milestones, always have to measure milestones. We have to know where we are coming from and where we are going. So I want us to celebrate some successes with you. Yeah. So tell us about your growth, your business growth.
Well, my business has actually grown from, like,
Did we lose you? So we're waiting for Jane to continue with us, just to share with us about her successes, because successes are important. And like I always say, in everything that we do, we've lost Jane, so I think it's her internet connectivity. In everything that we do on our journey to success, we must always put in a provision for failure, because failure will happen. And in her case, she went with trial and error and she was able to come back up yet another time. And now we're waiting to hear about her successes. And they're usually ups and downs. And the successes at times are not something huge. I shared here once, and Jane is actually one of our audience from Tuesday Talks at 3. And I remember on that particular day, I said, you know what? I celebrated 300 likes on my Facebook page. And I know that the metrics are usually people celebrating 5,000 likes. But I was not going to wait until we get to 5,000 to celebrate my 3,000. And that is what I would like us to encourage one another about. If today you have managed to do something. You've managed to climb over another hurdle. You've managed to see the sun come up. You've managed to have a best practice that has worked for you. Those small successes, we must celebrate it. And Jane is back with us. Jane, can you hear us? I think we're having a challenge with Jane, and she will jump right in once she joins us. So just wanted to hear what her success stories are, and maybe even your success stories. What is it that you have done about in business that has given you small things to celebrate? And what kind of business practices do you have that you could share with us? Well, I would love to share other forms of celebrating success. Now, for instance, I have talked about it, that for me to actually be here on Facebook Live and I'm beaming in from Zoom is something of a wonder. Because if somebody had said to me in 2019, December, this is what I will be doing this time, I always say this, I would have laughed my head off because it was not possible. But things are possible, ladies, and I celebrated that success with you, my audience. I also celebrated the success of best business practices, and that is collaboration. Collaboration. And with the collaboration, I am part of different groups. And the one group where I have collaborated so much more is with my Wealth Messenger partners. We are in this group and we're doing great things together. And in these collaborations, not only have they been able to come onto my show, and today I have one member here with me, and that is Joan Mbesia. And Roseanne Katunge is missing today. We shall find out where she is. But the collaborations that I have done are from groups that I belong to. And this month, the collaborations that I'm doing again with Jane, we belong to a different group. And last week when we did it with Lucy Njoroge, that was a collaboration of friendship because she's a childhood friend. Collaborations have made me grow. Next week, I also have collaborations with somebody who was very instrumental in my growing in the hospitality industry. And she is in the MICE market, which is meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. So definitely, again, collaborations. But how about surviving transitions? Because times change, ladies. If I was to give you the decades that I have worked in, that is my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and now I'm in my 50s, I'm actually working on 4 different decades. And with every decade, we get a younger version coming in and doing things differently. And for me, my biggest problem was just learning how to survive transitions. That was a problem for me. But today, I am taking it on as an opportunity to survive these transitions. I'm here. I am here and I am working the internet and making it work, and I'm allowing myself to fail. So share your story and let's see what issues that you have had that you have used to transcend. I like what Irene did. She used rejection as an opportunity. Rejection as an opportunity. Well, I've just received a message from our guest, Jane, and she is having network problems. However, we have come to the end of our session, and I would just like to share with you a few takeaways. So, number one, nothing comes easy. You have to work for it. And when I say working for it, I have right now a session that I am running that is called 2021 Goal Setting Clarity. And I'm taking you through 3 sessions, which is your identifying, your planning, and your execution of your goal. So nothing comes easy. You've got to identify your goal. You've got to break down your action plans. And then you've got to start moving and snowball it. Start today. Don't wait for tomorrow. So nothing comes easy because of the work that you have to put into it. That is what we mean by this. And all things are possible. They are all possible with God. We place them before our Heavenly Father, and He is able to know what is good for us. There was Irene talking about, opening other doors. It is God's way of opening great opportunities for us. Our perfect example today was Jane. Jane walked into a meeting. not knowing that she was going to walk out with a responsibility, which 6 years down the road was going to snowball into a business that she loves doing, that she had to learn about, and that she gets paid for, and that today she's sharing her success. So, what success do you have? Are you sharing it with people? Are you mentoring people? Are you teaching people? Are you using what you have to improve people's lives? Ask yourself that question. And if the answer is no, you can start today. Today is a good day as any for you to start. There are people out there waiting to learn your story and to be mentored by you. Associate yourself. This is the third takeaway. Associate yourself with people that have the same goals or are doing what you love. So we need to collaborate and to follow. We need to join groups. So this is your tribe. Who is your tribe? And you know, the beautiful thing about association is that you can choose where to belong. You can choose exactly where to belong. If I belong to this particular group right now, and I find that I'm not getting value from this group, guess what? I can left, like we say. But before I left, can I just find out, what did I give to this group? What kind of legacy did I leave? Am I complaining as opposed to being a solution? Because when the pandemic happened to us, it brought us all down. And some of us remained down and we were not able to see the silver lining in all these opportunities. Turn around your narrative. Choose to be uplifting. Associate with yourself with friends or people who will uplift you. And you, in turn, need to uplift everybody else. This is a responsibility that we all have. We must strive to have this responsibility. It is so important because once you do that, we share the success. And if you've been with me long enough on these sessions, I always say that success is best served shared. So we come to the end of our session today, and it is a shame that Jane was not able to finish off with us, but she gave us food for thought. She got us all thinking about this Pinterest and how we can leverage it in our businesses. So amazing, Jane, if you can hear us, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much for taking time to join us. You shared your story. I'm so happy that we can relate to it. I will wait for your contacts that we can take and add onto Facebook. If you can go there right now, if you can hear us, just put in your comments and we'll be happy to be able to work with you, Jane. We want to know whether we can do it ourselves or whether we need to come through you. Help us to build each other. That's what this platform is all about. Next week, ladies, we'll have another lady who will be sharing her story. She will be sharing how she's doing what she loves and she's getting paid for it. Oh, I've got some comments here before we end. We are on the hour. Joan says, amen, we live by his purpose for us. Very true. We do live by his purpose for us. And hence, our second takeaway is everything is possible with God. Irene says, share our blessings with others without expecting anything back. It's a calling. It's a vocation. Thank you so much. So remember to like our pages. Remember to join us, to link with us on LinkedIn, on IG, and on Facebook so that you have the opportunity to get an update on the things that we are doing. Thank you so much for joining us. And until then, be kind to yourselves. Bye now.